What's going on, Minnesota Viking fans? Welcome to the Purple People podcast, and I am so fired because I didn't put up the banner this week. Damn it. I'm Kyle Smith, and I'm going to eject myself for 5 minutes to the penalty box.
We give you one job, Smith. One job, sir, and you can't even do it.
Really can't. Welcome to the show, guys. I'm really excited for all three of us in the visual aspect of the show. Kyle West is wearing a Pat McAfee shirt. Hello, Kyle West.
What?
That is so. I'm gonna steal that from you right now. I'm gonna buy that exact one. I love that little retro, like neon looking logo.
I do too.
It's awesome.
I got the long sleeve one because I'm a long sleeve guy in
Me
general.
too.
I like the long sleeves and push them up, pull them down, whatever. Because I get cold really easy. I'm that guy where it's like 90 degrees outside in the summertime. You turn the AC on in the car. I'm like, I'm cold. You gotta pull those long sleeves down.
This is episode 433, Mockin on Heaven's Door. I am ripping a song off because I'm not original, and these guys are way better at it than I am. But I want to highlight the visual stuff. I'm going to talk about myself because I'm saving Adam for last because he's blown us out of the water. I got a cool little Vikings like Belichick-ish thing I ordered the other day from Fanatics. It's got a hood, but it's almost like silk. Like it's really thin, stretches, hang out, kind of like whatever. I could probably work out in it, but this thing's pretty awesome. Adam Carlson has like the war room set up in his green screen with his cat who keeps disappearing, which is just awesome.
I don't know why it thinks that Bernie's the same color as the chroma key, but it does.
It works, man.
Because he is not a lime green cat.
Yeah, right? That's odd.
Be kind of cool if he was.
That's true.
Yeah. If you're going to go full on Bill Belichick, you got to get some holes in that thing. Like,
I just got to cut the sleeves off.
What? Oh, I thought you were talking about Bernie. No holes in Bernie.
Yeah, no.
No, don't do that.
Andrew starts the chat off strong with "Muck it, baby." Duke Nukem reference. Good for you, man.
Classic.
The fan of the Duke Nukem. The kids today don't know about the Duke.
They definitely don't know Nukem High.
Those N64 days were. We didn't realize the treasure that we had when we had that going on.
You ever see that, Mr. West?
Yes, good reference, Adam. I got it. That's just for you and me, but I got it.
I think it is just for me and you.
Yeah, pretty much.
Welcome, Andrew. Hey, we're going to talk about the draft. So we'll talk about the jersey number changes, too. That's pretty important. The players seem to dig it. Well, minus the GOAT. He doesn't think it's cool at all. But, we're going to talk about the jersey number changes. I did a lot of messing around at work the other day with the mock draft stuff, trying to trade up, trade down, all that fun stuff. We're going to talk about that. But we would love to hear where you think the Vikings should go because this is our last show before the draft. The draft
Minnesota.
is next week, obviously. Minnesota.
Yeah. I'd prefer if they stayed there.
Yes.
And weren't they talking about moving the Timberwolves or something like that? That's a big talk.
Oh,
right
yeah.
now.
Oh, yeah. That's probably going to be next.
Oh, that's so annoying. Whatever. Yeah, we're going to talk about the draft and see where we think the Vikings are going to go, which is it's kind of weird. It seems like there's a glaring need every year, but this is one of those years where I have no idea what they're thinking, and we don't know how the board's going to fall. I saw one recently, I think Kyle West put it in our chat, where CBS had Trey Lance falling to us at 14, which is 100% not going to happen. You can book that and throw it to the bank. That is not going to happen. He's not going to fall that far, but if he did, I wouldn't be upset at that pick. But it's going to be a fun one. The Vikings are out of reach for any total chaos, but we'll see. We'll talk about that later.
Oh, there's always total chaos potential when the Vikings are drafting.
Oh, God.
When the Raiders are on the clock, everything goes out the window.
Right?
Yeah.
Sean Reynolds says, "Skull everyone one more week." One of my favorite times of year.
I'm excited for the draft to get here.
Have they picked an official NFL draft song?
Definitely
That can make or break
Green.
a broadcast right there.
Definitely CeeLo Green with the Thursday Night Football song. I know.
I don't remember what year it was, but I want to say it was 2 or 3 years ago. That the draft song was so bad. I actually watched the draft on a different channel than I usually do. when I liked the analysts on one program better. I just didn't want to hear that song anymore.
I thought it was said. Didn't we say something about Machine Gun Kelly? Was he a part of it, or he's just performing?
He's going to have a mini concert after the last pick of the draft is chosen.
Oh, okay. Yeah, he must be around from the Cleveland area. I'm not sure. I feel like he is. Significance there.
I have no idea. All I know is that Kevin Owens powerbombed him off the stage.
All I know is Eminem destroyed his rap career, so I was laughing at that. I heard his last album is good. A lot of people like that, but I'm not a fan of it. Whatever. Do your thing, dude. You're more famous and musically talented than I am, so props to you. Let's talk about these numbers, though. We had a couple of Vikings that had hinted about changing numbers because the NFL passed the rule on jersey numbers. They relaxed the rules, meaning that there are certain groups who can now opt to wear single-digit jersey numbers that they previously could not. Before, only quarterbacks, punters, and kickers could have single digits. Now that's expanded to tight ends, wide receivers, running backs, and D-backs. So this is pretty awesome. There's a lot of layover here, but bear with me. I'll read these out. Quarterbacks, options 1 through 19. Running backs, wide receivers, 1 through 49. 80 through 89, tight ends 1 through 49, 80 to 90, O-line 50 to 79, D-line 50 to 79, 90 to 99, linebackers 1 through 59, 90 to 99, defensive backs 1 through 49, and kickers and punters can go all the way from 1 to 19. So these have expanded quite a lot.
So Baker Mayfield can't switch to 69 yet.
Not quite.
Nice.
What's up? I think that was it, to be honest, because that was bad.
Ben? Thanks for joining us. We really appreciate it. I haven't seen your name pop up before, so welcome to the show. Okay, here we go. Who would take number 2? At least we would know who number 2 works for, though. God, you guys are smashing these references.
Right on top of it.
we made that reference at work today and watched that scene, and we didn't realize how really awful that movie really was, but it was so fun for the time. Yeah, that's funny. Some Viking players that had hinted about changing the first one up, and we think this is actually going to be a legit statement here. Hercules Mataafa, and I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, because you guys know I'm just going off of my terrible memory, from 51 to 50?
51 to 50.
He said he was happy to get the number back, and it was retweeted by the official Minnesota Vikings Twitter account. So I'm assuming that is 100% legit.
Right.
What I like to talk about with that is it might seem insignificant or dumb or silly to you, but these players, some of these guys, I don't know if you guys have watched some of those like Last Chance U or those type of things on Netflix. There are guys that get legitimately upset in college and early high school that are going to be, top prospects. They get really upset about that because they've had the same one, going forward since like Pop Warner. So it's significant to these guys. I mean, we probably couldn't care less, but I think it's cool for them. I think it's cool that they relaxed it. I like not just the specific rule. I like the progression that the NFL is relaxing some things that they were so tight knit on that had absolutely no bearing on the game. I think that's a big win for everyone.
It was a very arbitrary rule.
I was fine either way.
In the first place. Yeah, I mean, I agree with Adam. It's not like it bothered me that there was a difference between college and NFL. More uniform. It can be more of a straight transition now for players.
Good point.
So you'll get to see some of your stud college players, that are wide receivers wearing number 1 or 2 or whatever. We'll be able to carry that on to the NFL now. So that's fun. I like that.
Force those rookies to give some nobody off the roster $100,000 for a jersey number.
Right on.
This is hilarious. Sean Reynolds was bringing up Tom Brady when I mentioned the GOAT earlier. He threw a fit about it. He circled it on his Instagram story and called it dumb. And it's one of the most boomer moments I've ever seen Tom Brady have. And I just laugh because I'm like, dude, it has nothing to do with the game that's going to affect you in any way. No, first off, nobody's going to tell you, I need your number, Tom. You have that right exclusively. Nobody's ever going to ask for 12. I don't know how that affects you. It's not going to make you throw the ball inaccurately now because the number's off. I don't understand his.
Hey, you never know. I don't know his methods.
I don't get it.
There is actually a theory that it made it easier for quarterbacks to read the field based on how the old system worked, because you could tell easier where players were lined up based on their numbers. Now you have more of a open field for players to pick different numbers from. To which I say, grow the fuck up, Tom Brady.
You heard it here, folks.
Yeah.
Yeah, you never know how much that's going to change someone reading coverage, though. That will take a big difference. Offensive adjustments are going to take longer. It might be something that quarterbacks and offensive coordinators struggle a bit with for a while.
Didn't think of it that way. I'm just thinking now what Kyle was saying earlier about now, even with this draft in particular, some of these receivers can keep the same number going into some teams. I'm sure a popular offensive player will get to keep his same number now that it's relaxed this year, and that's really cool.
You're also going to have every high round wide receiver fighting for the number 2, the number 1 or number 2 jersey number every year on these teams. So that'll be interesting to watch play out. I don't know. I think it's fun. It's like a couple years back when they kind of relaxed the celebration rules. They let players go out there and have a little bit more fun on the field.
I wonder if they're going to keep the celebration wall.
What do you mean?
Last year they had the celebration wall where they had the camera against the back wall of the end zone,
like the TV screen.
where fans could go and they could use that to do their celebrations. I wonder if that's going to stay out. The pandemic rules are probably going to be lightened up a little bit.
You know, I think they should, Adam, and I tell you why, because it's any way they can promote themselves on social media. They could do that for every team and put it under the NFL logo if it's fun and get a lot of views that way.
And they sponsored it out. I mean, I think it was it Bud Light?
Oh, hey,
of course they did.
if they sponsored it out, that's not going anywhere. They're keeping that shit.
They should start allowing decimals. I know, what movie was that? Was it The Comebacks where there was the player with the fraction?
Oh my God. What
okay.
a reference.
Should they go full on NBA and allow players to wear the number 0?
I mean, why not?
I'd be fine with 00, but not 0, if that sounds strange.
So 00. So you could have like your kicker or your punter be 00. That's actually kind of cool. I'm kind of down for the kicker with the 00. I kind of want that to happen.
Your local kicker liaison on the Purple People podcast, Kyle West, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah. I'm with Derrick Henry here. So I'm on Google. We're in Sporting News is where I'm getting this from. And a lot of people reacted to it. And Derrick Henry says, probably my biggest feeling on this. Single digits, cool and all, but can we bring back the throwback jerseys and helmets? Somebody put in a request for that. My man right here in Nashville, where I'm sitting right now, that is a genius idea. Those 2009, 2010 throwbacks for the Vikings are hands down the best uniforms. I love them, and if they would have that on Mondays or Thursdays for every team, that would be sick. I would love that.
I will argue, Andrew, on that one. The kickers have not been zeros that they drafted. Daniel Carlson's a good kicker, just didn't last year. And the other kicker that got drafted is sort of in the Vikings record book for longest and most consistent field goals before they shipped him out. Blair Walsh was solid for quite a while. So, yeah, it's not that the Vikings are drafting bad kickers. But I get the joke. Both those players are kind of made fun of a bit for their tenures in Minnesota.
A couple of guys we were mentioning earlier for the Vikings. We talked about Hercules Mataafa. We know for sure that Justin Jefferson's head for now. He's going to stay number 18, which I'm really happy with. Yeah. I believe Cameron Dantzler said he's going to stay 27 for now.
Stephon Diggs says he's staying 14.
There you go.
Because he appreciates the fans so much, he doesn't want them to have to update their jerseys, but apparently he's fine updating the team on his jersey, just not the number.
Like we talked about before we started recording, I'm sure Diggs found out how much he was going to have to pay to change his jersey number. Like I said,
get a tweet about it soon.
Right. Like I said to you guys earlier, players have to pay for their backstock of jerseys that the NFL has made up. So a star player like Stephon Diggs, there's going to be a lot of number 14 jerseys floating around out there in Buffalo that he'd have to pay for. That's probably why he ain't going to be changing his number. Nice little PR spin for him to be like, oh, but the fans. No.
Okay, Stefan, whatever you say, bro.
Yeah.
One of the players on the Vikings that we all know and love, the offensive MVP from last year, Mr. Dalvin Cook, hinting that he might go to number 4, which he wore in college at Florida State, which would be interesting. I like it. It's not going to change his play at all, whatever. It's just his preference, but a little change here and there who cares, man? If you want to do it, go for it. I'm here for it.
Again, though, you're in a position where an opposing defense will see that number 2 jersey or whatever number it is in the backfield, and they're going to confuse a running back for a wide receiver or a tight end or whatever based on the numberings. And it's going to take a little getting used to locate and call out and really understand. So I understand some of the hesitation from the player standpoint, but it is something that I think teams will get used to over some time.
I kind of hope he changes it. I'm a fan. I like running backs. Single digit running backs just look cool. That's just a cool look. Yeah. I love that aspect of college football. So bring it on. I'm happy to see it here in the pro game. Dalvin Cook, if he wants to wear number 4, go for it.
Yeah, he shortened his autograph then from DC 33 to DC 4.
Oh, that's a good point.
Even quicker to sign things.
I have a jersey from him in the closet too. I forgot about that. Yeah, I'm going to need you to stay 33, Dalvin. Appreciate that. I revoke everything I said 5 minutes ago. No, but that's kind of cool. Just something, a little progression from the NFL, and it's eventually they're going to keep adding stuff, and we'll cover it. But that's the thing for now this week, and it gained a little bit of media coverage, so that's going to be cool.
DC for MVP. I like that. That has a good ring to it.
I hope he has an MVP season. That means the Vikings will do very well.
Talk about the Vikings and saying ring at the same time. Deadly ground, man.
Oh, it hurts.
I'll settle for Cook playing a full season being healthy.
Oh, snap.
Can we get that?
I hope he knocked on something.
There we go. It's not going to be Dalvin this time. Kirk's going to magically get hurt. That's what's going to ruin this year.
That extra game, the whole team is going to get hurt that extra game.
Going into the playoffs, yeah.
Yep.
Oh, that's so
They announced that the schedule is going to be coming out on a certain day next month, right?
May 12th, the schedule will be out. You'll get official dates of home and away games from the NFL, and I'm sure tickets will go on sale shortly after that. So mark your calendars for that. We'll cover it here. We'll make a post on Facebook and get your thoughts. But yeah, May 12th. Looking forward to that. That's not that far.
No, not at all.
It's crazy, man. This year's flying by. It's already the end of April. Draft next week. Whew. Let's talk about it, though, for all you guys watching.
I'm excited for it.
I'm really excited for this draft. I think that if you guys are cool with it, we can go team by team. ESPN did something really crazy today. I can't remember who it was. I'll get on and check real fast while I filibuster here. But somebody wrote an article today and put it out about the Vikings and all the other teams. If every pick was a trade, whether it be a player or for picks. And I thought it was a super interesting because you had to think about every team and what would work for needs. The one that had the Vikings shipping a player out was Danielle Hunter to the Cowboys. And we would get a bunch of picks for it, like move up to 10, a second, a third, something like that. Something the Vikings would never do. But in that scenario, that's how they would gain, and that's what we would gain. And I forget what the Vikings were going to do with their 14th pick. I think they said they were going to try to move around because one of the quarterbacks would still be available and acquire more picks that way, which seems a lot more based in reality. But it was a good read. It was just fun because, it's total nonsense and it'll never happen. But if you guys want, man, I'd like to go over this. This is not, I don't know. You see a bunch of stuff on YouTube, and obviously the analysts and the experts do this, but I would like to see what we all think and people in the comments think is going to happen in the draft. And we'll eventually get to the Vikings and see what we think they're going to do. But it'll be a good way to lengthen out the show just a little bit. But let's start with number 1. The Jacksonville Jaguars. I think this is pretty easy. They're going to take Trevor Lawrence. You guys disagree? Agree?
There's no way they don't. He's number 1. He's already got the playbook, right?
He donated to a Jacksonville charity like a week ago, so that's pretty much in there. I don't know how that's not tampering, but hey,
yeah, like I'm serious. Like I had heard that he's already got their playbook. So
I bet
that's a done deal.
Yeah, I don't think that there's any movement on that one.
No.
It's pretty crazy too, because if you remember the game last year, the Jaguars have some decent wide receivers. They're not going to blow you away with a Diggs, a Hopkins, a Julio Jones name in the popularity category, but they have some really good receivers, and if they can keep him upright, that division is very winnable. So I'm excited to see what Urban Meyer does with Trevor Lawrence there. Because he's pretty. Everybody's comparing him to be as good as what Andrew Luck was, and see how that goes. That's big shoes to fill, but he's certainly awesome and probably the best player in the draft.
And Jacksonville's fire sale makes things really interesting for the franchise there. They've got a lot of picks available. They've got a lot of money available. They can slap together a contending team probably pretty fast.
Absolutely. Got good picks, and it helps having that first overall pick, because when you get to rounds 2 and 3 and even into 4 with the players that fall, we've seen players that we've wanted snatched right up a couple picks before, and the Vikings on the same side, like players like Eric Kendricks and Dalvin Cook sneaking into the second round and getting them there. So they're going to get good value for it. So good for them. I heard that they did answer phone calls on the number 1 pick, but they would have had to have taken like 7 first-round picks or something.
You have to.
So, yeah.
I mean, you have to listen to it, because there might be some team that...
You'd have to pull a Saints and trade your whole draft away.
Right?
That's so risky. Even if you did, like, let's see, we're talking about number 1 picks. Look at Joe Burrow. He's going to be really good. But look what happened to him with no protection. I mean, think about trading away your whole draft, and then you're stuck with, who's their backup quarterback? Somebody like Jake Fromm or whoever the hell it was, the guy from Alabama, I forget his name. And then you're just like, well, there's a whole wasted season. There's literally no reason to play now. And I can't believe, we'll talk about them in a little bit because they're at number 5. I can't believe they're even hinting at getting him another receiver.
They have to go. They have to go offensive line.
I mean, that would be logical, right? With that big scar on his knee and that photo they took with the new uniforms, it's like, bro, the answer's there. It's not that hard.
He's going to be like that quarterback that the Titans drafted, who's just like, fuck it, I'm going to retire.
Jake Locker.
He used to be like Jake Locker. Be like, I got all the
concussions left and right. Yeah, I would too.
Fuck it, I'm done. I hope not, because he's got all the potential in the world.
I had a buddy that just absolutely loved Jake Locker. Right out of the draft, buying Jake Locker everything. It was amazing. And he's a Packer fan. He just loved Jake Locker.
Didn't you want him on the Vikings, Smith?
I don't remember that far back.
I'd say that too.
No, yeah.
Speaking of concussions, there's Kyle Smith's memory.
Yeah, dude. It's all just alphabet soup up here. I have nothing going on. But yeah, we all consensusly think Trevor Lawrence is going to the Jaguars. I think it's pretty obvious. Andrew Latola and Devin have some good comments here. Season records with that extra game are going to shatter. You're correct. It's just with the evolution of the game. I'm bittersweet on it. I understand it. It's going to suck to see some of those. Like, we just got Justin Jefferson to break the record. That rookie record will fall. Now, I'm not saying it'll be blown out by 300-400 yards, but who knows?
That'll okay. It's okay. It's like anything else. There's the records for when there was this amount of games, and then there's the records moving forward. It happens. Shit, back in the day, there was 14 fucking games when OJ Simpson was playing. I mean,
juice.
Evolution. It's a mystery. Like
Chenault's touchdown was the luckiest catch ever. That's so funny.
Cameron's got no problem picking up Mewcat.
Yeah. Chenault. That's what you were talking about. I was like, why do I know that name? Laviscus Chenault. What a name. It's a lot. going on. Good
Cool
shit
name.
there.
Cool name. I like it.
Number 2 pick, New York Jets. The consensus here is Zach Wilson, quarterback out of BYU. I think this has bust written all over it.
Yeah, thank you.
And I heard this from, I think it was Joel Klatt was on Cowherd the other day. And you guys know me here. I'm going to give people credit if I can remember where I got it from. I'm not going to steal info on there. But he said that Zach Wilson in one season raised his completion percentage 11%, people. How did he do that? Does anybody have any guesses? I'll give you a hint. COVID. He played nobody. They played no Power 5 schools. Of course you're going to beat the shit out of everybody you play. You're playing like, oh my gosh, Old Dominion. Get out of here, man. I think this seems bust written all over it. And call me superstitious, but much like the Browns, this organization has been a trash can for so long. And I love Robert Saleh. I'm so happy he got that job because I think he just brings like the energy there. But until they prove me wrong and the rest of all the Jets fans wrong, it's just like, here goes another wasted career, Sam Darnold all over again.
I'm still not throwing in the towel on Darnold.
I don't think so either, but I think they did him no favors there while he was a Jet.
But the Jets haven't been good since they've had the just insane running game to pair with a strong defense.
Right. Mm-hmm. Mr. Butt Fumble himself. Back-to-back AFC championships.
Yeah, if they're able to do it with that guy at the helm, then they can do pretty well.
Say what you will about Mark Sanchez. He was one of the more successful Jets quarterbacks.
Hey, he got farther than Favre did while he was there. And I'll tell you something else. I like Mark Sanchez as a person. That to have to put up with just that being the hallmark of your career, I get it. He's a fun dude, though, like as far as interviews and post-football life.
You can't take yourself too seriously.
Favre was playing with half a shoulder.
Dude, I remember I was in Afghanistan. I was so young, and I was like, oh my God, he's 8-3. Tom Brady's out. He's going to go to the Super Bowl with the Jets. And then torn rotator cuff, and typical Favre was like, I can still throw better than half of these guys. I'm going to play. From 8-3 to 9-7. What a terrible finish.
Yeah, but it led him here to Minnesota. So
you're right. You're 100% right. So that was the Jets. I'm glad we had some Jets talk on the show. We needed that. We needed it a lot. This is where it gets interesting. The San Francisco 49ers traded up. For what reason, I have no idea. I can't for the life of me understand Kyle Shanahan's thought process because you have Jimmy Garoppolo, right? Decent quarterback, decent enough to get you to a Super Bowl at that position, and now you want to move on from him. And the talk of the town is Mac Jones from Alabama, and while I see the plug and play right now can learn the offense thing, that dude's ceiling is not very high. I don't understand it.
Which is funny because his NFL comparison is Kirk Cousins.
Exactly.
And of course, we've all heard the rumors swirling about how much the 49ers were interested in Kirk Cousins. If there's any truth to that, who knows? But the word was out there, so you kind of got to pay a little bit of attention to it. But if they're looking for a Kirk Cousins clone, then that probably will be the way they go.
Well, you got to think when you trade up that high, you're getting a quarterback, right?
Absolutely. There's no doubt about it. And I'd be shocked if they win anything else. They're not going to go anything else but quarterback. But it's just, who are they going to take? Because this is truly...
Unless they really believe someone like Pitts can come in and just be that weapon to pair with Jimmy G to really elevate him to the next level.
3 is a weird spot because there's only a couple positions that are in play. If you're taking a corner, it's got to be an elite corner.
Right.
You can take a maybe not elite left tackle, but an excellent left tackle at 3.
Mm-hmm.
But otherwise, if you trade into that spot, it's more than likely going to be a quarterback.
And it could go one of two ways. It's either going to be Mac Jones or probably Justin Fields, which is crazy because if you think back to last year when it was the Jets and the Jaguars fighting for the first pick, and the Jets won a game, and then you're like, oh, they won themselves right out of Trevor Lawrence. Guess I'll have to take Justin Fields now, and all of a sudden his draft stock goes down. And it's funny how this, dude, it happens every year, and I'll never understand it. Some guys stuff goes straight to the moon. Some guys goes down. There's a big bust that we had no idea was going to be bad. There's a guy that slips, and you're like, what the hell? Justin Jefferson.
We're seeing that right now with a couple prospects that people are linking to the Vikings. Jalen Phillips is just soaring up charts.
I don't.
At one time, he was a second, third round pick, and now they're talking about him being a potential top 10. Meanwhile, K. Whitty is falling in so many mocks and so many big boards. A lot of them, he's going right out of the first round.
I really want Kwity Paye. We're going to talk about that here shortly, but I don't want the risk with Jalen Phillips is just too much for me. The guy had to move schools and take a year off because concussions were so bad. And that's just concussions. We're not talking about other injuries that compiled. Now, he did come back at an elite school like Miami and have a damn good season, but God, would that just be the Vikings' total luck? He comes out, has a monster rookie year, has a concussion, and retires 2 years later because he just can't do it. And you can't be mad at the guy.
No.
Take care of yourself. I don't get it, but Adam's right. That guy is jumping up the charts and hitting in a couple of mocks recently. We've seen the Vikings on a couple of things I've seen, Instagram and looking around other sports websites themselves. They have Jalen Phillips going at 14, and it scares me to death. Scares me to death. I don't like it.
It's terrifying. And I got nothing against the kid. Absolutely nothing. If he's got the heart to come out and play and is willing to put his health on the line to do so, that's amazing.
He called him Macaroni Jones. That's amazing. He looks like he eats a lot of macaroni. That picture that came out of him there, that's something that didn't get talked about enough. Some damning photos came out of Mac Jones, especially a really racist one. And I'm like, oh, that's not good. But I saw him with his shirt off, and they compared him to Tom Brady at his draft profile. And it's like, oh, sweet, dad bods unite, man. Good for you.
I did see that.
He can, you know what, though? He had to take that in stride. He could just flash his national championship ring and be like, I have the highest completion percentage in college football history.
Yeah.
So you go ahead and laugh at my dad bod all you want. But we think the Niners are going to take Mac Jones. What do you guys think that's probably going to be the pick?
That's what I'm expecting.
I hate to see Justin Fields slip. I think he's going to be an interesting talent, but I think that's where they go at 3. This is where the draft gets really interesting, and we'll speed it up just a tad. But Atlanta Falcons, Matt Ryan's contract is insane after this year, but he's like Aaron Rodgers' age, so he's still got plenty of time left. He could play somewhere else on like a 3 or 4 year deal after this. But do you go back and you get his successor and let him sit like they used to do? Do you get a weapon to where their offense just instantly becomes the best in the league? They need a defensive player at like every level. I don't know where the Falcons are going to go. My gut says they're going to pick Pitts out of Florida because he's just such a good player, but who knows?
I would be a bit, I won't say surprised, but I'll say beleaguered if Atlanta goes offense again, because it's absolutely not essential for them to get another pass catcher. Their talent, as far as that goes, they could grab a 3rd, 4th round receiver to go with what they already have, and they would already be one of the better receiving units in the NFL. So I just don't see that. And as far as picking a quarterback, Matt Ryan, I think, would put Atlanta in a situation where you'd almost have to rush him out the door. And I don't think that's what they want to do.
And with the way what you're talking about, with the way the salary is set up, it's not, they're going to have to eat a ton of money based on the way it's set up. Even if, hey, they push him out this door, they say, hey, this is your last season, have a good one. We're going to use you, but blah, blah, blah. They're still going to eat a lot of that money. So you could probably throw it forward, but it's still, I don't think that's in their best interest either.
Based on which quarterbacks go 1-2 or even 1-2-3 at that point, because they're 4, right?
Yeah, Atlanta's at number 4, and at that point you'd have Mac Jones is gone. You'd have Justin Fields and Trey Lance available, which are still really good prospects.
Yeah, you'd have to be manning the phones at that point because you could get your best non-quarterback available, and at that point, teams are probably going to be clamoring for Pitts. So
Yeah, I think Atlanta would trade. I don't know who they'd pick, but if I had to
I
say
think
they
that would be a
trade.
trade down. But if they do pick, I think they should go defense. They should go something, maybe pass rusher, to try to help them out because they could win shootouts. But it'd be better if they didn't have to.
Absolutely.
I've heard the owner is still all in on Matt Ryan, so I don't think that they will probably be going quarterback.
I've heard Rick Spielman say he's not trading some players too, and
Well,
touche.
very true, very true. But I think I agree with what you guys said. Atlanta's probably in the perfect spot to trade back. See if anyone wants to bite on drafting Pitts. Who's is it Miami? Who's the next pick?
No, Cincinnati's at number 5, then Miami.
Cincinnati, then Miami. Pitts is going to one of those teams.
100%. He's not leaving. He's not going past 6. There's no way.
Yeah, no.
I think
Cincinnati might be in a position where they want to trade up one spot to make sure they get Sewell.
I think that what's going to happen is a team's going to get here at number 4. They're going to get antsy and they're going to jump up to get a quarterback. You got to think Washington needs one, New England needs one, Carolina needs one, possibly Denver definitely needs one.
But these quarterbacks aren't interchangeable. It's going to definitely decide on which ones go in those 1, 2, 3 spots.
Right,
and
right.
I don't think that Cincinnati's in a position where they can wait on an elite left tackle. I know that there are some versatile players in this draft on the offensive line. There's some high potential left tackles, but I don't think there are any as polished as Sewell. So yeah, I see them moving up a spot to grab him.
Yeah, that makes sense. Cincinnati really has to go offensive line. They have to.
Like when the Browns want Trent Richardson.
Yeah.
It's one spot, but you give up that 4th round pick to do it, and you get the guy you really want.
Mm-hmm. I don't think I agree with you, Adam. I don't think they're going to trade up. I think Atlanta is either going to go Pitts, trade out for a quarterback, or let somebody jump to get one. I think they're going to get Penei Sewell at number 5. I think that's a smart thing. Although a lot of these mocks have them taking Jamar Chase, who is even better than Justin Jefferson by all accounts. But I think that's a terrible move for them. You can get another wide receiver at pick 5 in the 2nd round and do it that way. I'm with you. I think they should go after Penei Sewell and figure that out and protect Joe Burrow. I don't think they'll have to trade up because of what Atlanta's going to do. But you're right. I think that's who they're going to take.
Man, that offense would be terrifying, though.
Oh, it would. Absolutely.
Who would you guard? You'd have to have, like, several elite defensive backs.
And imagine this. Joe Mixon's been hurt. What if he comes back and he's a decent running back again?
Yeah.
That's going to be a good offense. That's going to be a fun division to watch. So that was Cincy at number 5. Miami. God, heads off to the Miami GM and their front office. They have so many picks. They're going to be a good team. I don't believe in Tua Tagovailoa whatsoever, but it's only been a year, so maybe I should curb that a little bit. But they're at number 6. And if we're saying that Sewell went at 5, I would say that Miami's going to take Jamar Chase from LSU, and that offense is going to look pretty good now. Got Devontae Parker. They got Will Fuller, who's got some speed. He's not like game changing, but he's a veteran wide receiver. I think that Jamar Chase is like a true number 1, and that'd be ridiculous for Miami.
Yeah,
they were a fringe playoff team last year too. They're going to give Buffalo some fits up there.
I think if Pitts is there, I think that's where Miami will go. If he's still on the board for him. Otherwise they're going to draft Chase. I think they're looking at taking they want to get a weapon, a big playmaker weapon for Tua early in the draft. And those are the 2 guys you'd be looking at that early to draft. So
the conversation between Pitts and Chase is an interesting one.
It is.
Because neither are really blockers from any extent. They're both big time receivers. And sure, they can be put in different places, but really they're still quite different in what they do and how they accomplish it. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see who is picked first of those 2, because a lot of people are probably sleeping a bit on Chase and the love for Pitts is definitely out there.
Is there a world where he falls to Minnesota?
Not a chance.
Not a chance in hell.
Not a chance. And I wish, just because the offense looks so good, and like that's terrible for Irv Smith. But hey, if he's that much better, that's like Julio Jones falling. You got to take him. And that's kind of who,
Right.
like body type wise, it's kind of what he is. He's a big dude, but he's so fast. We'll let Adam come back whenever his internet figures it out. John says we could get Christian Darrisaw, a defensive lineman at 14, and then Kwity Paye falls, trade into the top of the second round, no matter the cost. Here's my problem with that, John. I don't think Kwity Paye is going to fall to the second. He's going to fall. If he does fall, he's going to go to the end of the first. Now I'm with you. However, I don't think that he's going to be there at the second. I think he might fall to a playoff team from last year, which would be scary. If you're going to go defensive player at 14, you need an edge rusher more than you would need depth or potential there. Just in my opinion of interior defensive line, because both of the guys that are going to be starting are back. I would hope they would trade up and get something in the second for a guard maybe. I like Wyatt Davis a lot, and he'll be around in the middle of the second, but I like where you're at here. And if that did happen, I would be very happy if Kwity Paye fell to the second. The Vikings jumped up to get him. That would be awesome.
Yeah, sorry I had to run for a moment. My Bernie got his claw stuck in the curtain and was just meowing his face off. So
that's all right. I could hear some neighbor's dog barking a couple minutes ago, so it happens.
Darn cats.
So we were talking about Miami. We're thinking that they're going to go pass catcher there. We have Detroit at number 7, and they could literally go anywhere because they are a dumpster fire, and they'll bite your kneecaps off. Based on this, though, I'm not really sure where they would go and who's there. I think they would probably go wide receiver. I think Kenny Golladay is gone. So if you've taken Jamar Chase, I think the next available that should be taken is Jalen Waddle. That makes a lot of sense. But I couldn't tell you where they're going to go. I just know those have been some talks. About them taking a wide receiver. I could see them going corner too.
Absolutely.
They need a corner for sure. They need a lot of stuff there. Poor Lions. they have such a downgrade from.
They'll just draft another running back. Why not? Keep them coming.
Yeah. Why not? That's funny. I was saying too, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Such a downgrade from Matt Stafford to Jared Goff. That poor guy.
And I understand if you're getting Goff behind a really good offensive line to kind of give him some help, but Stafford got the upgrade in nearly every sense of the word.
LA and Matt Stafford definitely won that deal, but
yeah, you go from Detroit to LA is an upgrade just in and upon itself.
That division's tough, but that coach, man, I really like their coach, and I like that they're ballsy, man. They'll go after people that they want. They'll spend money. They don't care. They're trying to win, so good for them.
I'm excited for Matt Stafford to maybe have an opportunity to win. He's a tough, gritty quarterback. Let's see what he can do.
He's a good person too. I'm a big Matt Stafford fan. He's not especially that he got my respect a long time ago where what did he break his shoulder or pop it out of place?
I was going to say,
goes in and throws a touchdown. He's like, no, I'm good. Like
dislocated shoulder. And he goes out there and throws a touchdown pass and then comes back out and he's like, I think it's dislocated. Like, come on, man. That's Brett Favre tough.
That's awesome. Number 8, we have the Carolina Panthers. Since they went and got Sam Darnold, I'm not sure exactly what they're going to do here. The mock that I'm looking at right now says Rashawn Slater, and I'd be very upset because I like him a lot to come to the Vikings, but they got to protect quarterbacks. They did I think they did all defense last year for their picks, which was really ballsy. They're going to get an offensive player, I would guess. They don't really need a receiver. They got good receivers there, so that makes sense if Rashawn Slater was to go offensive tackle there. I think that would be a smart move for them. They could take a quarterback if they wanted. I mean, Trey Lance is still there, so
do they still have Teddy, or is he a free agent now?
I don't think they're going to keep him. That's what I was reading on Twitter, but it would behoove them to keep him for another year.
Rumor mill is that Teddy is draft day trade bait for some other team. Potentially we could see Teddy getting moved around then.
Andrew, thank you for your science here, man. That's a good point. That dude he had one too many protein shakes that day. He was fired up for that.
It's like watching The Walking Dead and you see these people just like, and stabbing through a skull. And it's like, no. That's no.
That's not how that works at all. Denver Broncos are at number 9. The mock that I'm looking at here has Micah Parsons going there. They need a quarterback, and I think they would pull the trigger on a quarterback there. If we're going off of this mock, Rashawn Slater there. If Trey Lance is at number 9.
I think Trey Lance, Denver.
He's a big body. He's got a rocket arm. His accuracy is total ass. They're going to have to work on that, but he is a very interesting prospect for sure, and they need – I love John Elway. He's going to go for a quarterback every time until he gets one. I can't be mad at him for that, even though there's been some big duds there in Denver.
I know Minnesota struggles to draft quarterbacks, but Denver's worse.
Oh yeah, absolutely. No contest.
Way worse.
Right here at number 10, this is a good pick too. I think this is pretty easy for the Cowboys. The Cowboys need a lot of help defensively, and they need to start at corner. Patrick Surtain at corner at 10, I think would be smart for them. A lot of J.C. Horn fans from South Carolina, big dude, reminds me of Xavier Rhodes. He's getting a lot of attention, but I think they go corner here.
The rumor mill has Dallas very interested in Pitts, so if they want him, they're going to have to trade up.
That's such a Jerry Jones thing. What an idiot. Dude, you have CeeDee Lamb and Amari Cooper and Zeke Elliott with Dak coming back. You don't need a tight end. You need to fix that shitty defense because Mike McCarthy doesn't know how to do that. God, I forgot he was there.
That's the word anyways, that they are deeply in love with him.
I forgot Mike McCarthy was the head coach of the Dallas Cowboys, dude.
That's that's crazy. In a totally winnable division right now, too. Ugh. New York Giants are at 11. This mock has Kwity Paye going to there. I would be pissed, and I will throw something if that happens. I want this guy. He's my favorite player for the Vikings in the draft, but New York Giants need help in a lot of places, so that makes sense. Like I said, totally winnable division. That's crazy. I didn't even notice this. The NFC East has picks 10, 11, and 12 back to back to back.
Oh, yeah.
Weird. Oh, man, that's good. That's going to cost.
And all of them were in contention to win the division at some point.
That's crazy. Yeah, they need an edge defender. They could definitely take Kwity Paye at 11. I think that would be a slight reach for a pass rusher there, but, I mean, they need one, so why not? We'll go with that for this one. This is funny because you have receivers available. Philadelphia is probably going to get a receiver again. If they could get Jalen Waddle, that would be really smart. Adam is not a fan of the Heisman Trophy winner at the NFL level, and I asked him about that, and I would love to hear his thoughts. I think he's awesome, man, but you're right, man. That frame scares the life out of me because he's going to get ran over by a guy, and then is he broken ribs?
It's hard to put in perspective because his highlight tape shows him making some great plays, but it also shows a lot of bad traits.
Right.
Like when he gets bumped by a tiny corner and he's stumbling out of his break, if that happens at the NFL level, he's never creating separation.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I mean, this is a scary situation from a player who's coming in so tall and so lean, and a bump and run play can just take him completely out of a play.
Do you think there are NFL teams out there who are, if we get a hold of him and we put him in our weight room, our strength and conditioning coach, we can bump him up, we can get his weight up, and that will not fuck up the way he plays on the field? Like, if you bulk him up, does that take away his strengths? Like, I would not draft this kid in the first round.
He's had the entire offseason to bulk up, and he hasn't.
No, not at all. He's actually lost weight from when he was claimed to be at 170. He's like 168 or something now.
So, yeah, I have no reason to believe that any sort of conditioning can be effective in getting this done. And I don't know if he refused to do so or if he can't. But either way, it's a bad sign.
I'll tell you this from what I watched the other day, and I like this perspective. Joel Klatt said this the other day on Coward. It makes a lot of sense to defend Jalen Waddle. He's like, if this guy sucks at the NFL level and it's because of a coach, I'm yelling at you right now in pretense. You can't expect this kid to line up on the outside and just be like a vertical guy the entire time. He's like, he needs to go other places and you need to have him in motion all the time. That's what he excelled at, right?
Right.
But the problem with that is still the frame that we're talking about. I would use him in the Vikings offense as a slot guy, and that offense would be terrifying. Thielen, Jefferson, and Smith. But if he goes over the middle and a huge linebacker,
God,
it's going to be over, and I feel so bad because.
And I know the rules, if not to interrupt, but I know the rules have changed to where like the Ray Lewis middle linebacker huge hits aren't quite there as much. But when you're my size on an NFL field, you're going to get fucked up going across the middle. There's just no way around it. And I agree with John Young's comment here in the chat, too. I think Alabama's weight room is just as good as an NFL program.
That's where all the NFL players are.
Touche.
They play
very, very valid point on that one.
Ohio State.
Absolutely.
That's where they're at. And LSU, the big four there. That's funny, man. That's a good one.
Yeah.
But also, too, like we're talking about Devontae Smith now because I like the kid. I'm nothing against him. It just the other thing is his teammate is going to go possibly in front of him, and because he won the Heisman because Jalen Waddle was injured. He came back for the national championship, but he had a high ankle sprain and like a ligament tear, so he was out for pretty much all of the season, or at least a good portion of it last year. So that's interesting as to why he won the Heisman. But so far now we're at 12. We're almost to the Vikings here. This is an interesting mock too because I just clicked on it. I didn't see scrolling down. It only shows you 2 or 3 at a time. I'll tell you what they said, and then we'll talk about our pick. This is what sucks about this draft for us because if the Vikings stay at 14, the Chargers need an offensive lineman to protect Justin Herbert. Justin Herbert had a phenomenal rookie season that none of us really thought was going to happen. They need to keep that kid protected. They have pass catchers. They got a decent running back. Defense is going to be okay. But they need to shore up the offensive line. My brother's a huge Chargers fan, and he said that's the first glaring need is top priorities offensive line. They have Elijah Vera Tucker from USC going to the Chargers, and that would hurt my heart a little bit. I would like to see.
He offers a ton of versatility.
Yeah, I'd love to see him slide into guard for the Vikings. He would be a day one starter there. But that's who they have going. That makes sense for them, and good luck. You got to protect your quarterback, especially in that division, because you got to keep him upright to throw for 40 points a game against Patrick Mahomes twice a year. So that could happen, and I could see them doing that there. I don't see them going anywhere but offensive line there. They have to. And somebody will be available to them, which would screw over the Vikings at the next pick. But in this mock, Trey Lance was still available, and we were just going off what we thought would happen. So they have the Washington football team trading up with the Vikings to get Trey Lance at 14. And if you scroll down here, 19, excuse me, we ended up getting Christian Darrisaw for the offensive line. And I would not hate that pick at all.
Plus whatever compensation it took for them to move up.
That's very true. I'm trying to see if they will tell us what we get here. No, they're just going to tell you what they took in advance there. That's cool, though. That's from Charlie Casserly. Now that we're at the Viking pick and we have a lot of people watching, we can go around the board here. What do you guys want most to happen? I would not be mad, and I kind of feel like this, depending on how the draft falls, I know it's a generic statement. If this is the way the draft falls and there's a quarterback still there, I hope Rick trades back and finds value elsewhere because missing that second round from the Yannick Ngakoue trade is brutal.
I actually have to sit this one out as far as this discussion goes because I have my final and the Viking Age's final mock draft coming out on Saturday, and I don't want to give any of it away.
Cheap plug. Check out Adam's mock draft coming on, what do you say, Saturday?
Yeah.
There you go. So I look forward to seeing what you come up with, Adam. So the Vikings are in this position where they are on this year's draft board, where I would love to say we're going to add a weapon, because an offensive weapon, a skill player. I know Adam hates that term, but a wide receiver, a tight end, one of those guys. But where we're sitting with 14, I just think the ones that are your top level guys are obviously going to be gone by now. So it'd be too much of a reach to go otherwise. I'm leaning towards Mike Zimmer doing we're going defensive end. I just have this feeling for defensive end, and I see a lot of mock drafts going defensive end for Minnesota as well too.
Which is kind of bold for West, because West said that he would actually be okay going forward with Hunter and Weatherly, which on paper seems fine.
I would be okay with that,
right?
But that's the thing though, is that I'm not running the Vikings draft. It's what Nick Spielman and Mike Zimmer are going to be doing, and there is this potential with Danielle Hunter where maybe it's last year for him in Minnesota. Maybe he plays this year of his contract, and then maybe he wants out. We could potentially be looking at needing a replacement for him coming soon. So defensive end seems likely. I know we. I would also like to say offensive linemen. Literally any position on the offensive line, I would be okay with too. But I don't. I don't know at 14 who would be available that we would be drafting that isn't a reach. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Well, fans don't even know what position the Vikings want to draft on the offensive line. If they see they already have a left tackle on the roster, they might go interior. And if they go interior, then they'll probably wait. If they're grabbing a left tackle, they're going to take one early. It's all on how they are viewing this offensive line grouping they already have. And on the outside looking in, I have no idea.
It's one of those years where it really does feel like Minnesota could go multiple spots. And when you go, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, there's only a few spots I really couldn't see Minnesota going. I don't see them taking a running back. I don't see them taking a tight end.
Nope.
I don't see them taking a defensive tackle.
It's pretty much down to defensive end, interior lineman, or corner. We could say corner at the end.
Corner.
Or if there's best player available, like if they're looking at like maybe Micah Parsons, but his stock's dropped a lot. I'll tell you guys, since we're back to where I'm at, I've said this on the other part of the show, but this is the perfect draft for me as the Vikings fake GM for this. Kwity Paye at 14. You find a way to get up in the second round with all these picks, and you get Wyatt Davis at guard. I literally don't give a shit what you do after that. You can do your Rick Spielman things and go get all the depth you need at other places, but you address a major need at the two positions that this team has to fix. And the reason I say that in that order is just because I particularly want to see, like, I'm being greedy right now. West, I'm with you. I think that they should shore up the offensive line with the most caliber talent possible, because with the addition of Tomlinson, Pierce coming in, and then Hunter back, I don't care who's opposite on the end D in there. They're going to get some good love, because all those other three guys are nasty. Patrick Peterson, Mackenzie Alexander, Mike Hughes coming back.
Woo.
This defense is going to be back to form, I believe. But
I temporarily forgot we got Patrick Peterson.
Dude, right?
Right?
He's on a one-year deal. Like, he's banking on having a revamped year to kind of project his stock. Now, he didn't say that he was just going to do a one and done in Minnesota. He's open, but he wants to get paid, and he's made that clear. And Mike Zimmer would pay that guy. He would, because he loves corners. But
in the secondary, you have kind of a similar situation than on the defensive line. Xavier Woods might not be a top-tier player, but he's going to be playing around some of the best players he's ever played with in his life. We're going to get to see him at his best, where he's not asked to do too much.
Correct.
And compare and contrast from last season, my lord, it's already such an improvement over the shit show that we had in the secondary last year. I'm curious, anyone, and this includes the chat as well, does anyone think the Vikings are actually going to trade up?
The only way I think, and you guys correct me if I'm wrong, the Vikings trade up is if there's a player that they are absolutely in love with, that they had no chance in their minds that they were going to get, and he's sitting there at like 9 or 10, and they're like, holy shit, we can go get this guy. But here's the thing, and I have this up here because it's in the mock draft simulator. Let me Google this really quick. 2022 Vikings.
I don't think Minnesota would pay through the nose to move up. I think that if they can move up on the cheap they might, but it would only be for an elite left tackle. It's the only reason I could see them moving up is if they see left tackle as being their biggest need and they want to go up and get their top guy. That's the only way I see it.
The Vikings don't have nearly as many picks next year in 2022. They have a 1 and a 2, a 6 and a 7 guaranteed. 3 goes to the Jaguars if they win the Super Bowl, and he's a first ballot Pro Bowler, being Yannick Ngakoue, which is not going to happen. Round 4, conditional if he is a first ballot Pro Bowl selection. Vikings don't win the Super Bowl. Goes to a 5th to the Ravens if he's just average there, and that's to the Jaguars in the 5th too. So I don't know how much they would give up to go. I don't know how you would leverage that. They don't have a Teddy Bridgewater to leverage there too as player wise. I think they need all the help they can get, but I don't think that they're going to go up unless they fell in love with the quarterback and it's holy shit, he's only 3 players away. We can go get him, but don't do it. You already lost a draft pick from forfeit and for the Yannick Ngakoue trade. So just collect picks.
My 2 cents on the quarterback is what's his name? Trey Lance or Trey someone Lance. Like that would have to be sitting right there for Minnesota at 14 for 100%. for them to draft him. I don't think, if he's a couple picks above us, quarterback is not enough of a position of need for this team for them to be willing to give up draft capital to move up a couple spots to draft a quarterback. Rick Spielman, he covets that draft capital way too much for that. I agree with Adam where it would have to be for a left tackle or someone like that for them to move up and say, hey, we're going to go ahead and pull the trigger to bring this guy in who's going to make an immediate impact on this team. Drafting a quarterback, you don't want to do the Aaron Rodgers,
the Jordan Love thing,
Jordan Love situation where you just don't want to do that.
Can you imagine if the Packers had drafted a player that would have made an impact on their team instead of sitting Jordan Love and making him inactive on game days? If they had picked a player that made an impact, they might have been Super Bowl champions.
We should be thankful as Vikings fans that they don't do this. But could you imagine? If Green Bay gave Aaron Rodgers weapons?
Instead of just making him go out there and make Robert Tonyan a Pro Bowler.
Yeah.
And he's a good player, don't get me wrong, but aside from last year, he had no numbers, and he's he has double-digit touchdowns.
And Valdez-Scantling? He's a decent receiver, but on any other team, he's not anything.
No,
special.
Absolutely not. It's crazy. That dude's so talented, man. I'm past the point of hating him. I'm just pointing out the obvious.
Did you look at all the former Packers players that left Aaron Rodgers and did nothing?
Greg Jennings.
Nothing.
It's so bad. Oh.
Hey, this came up on the Pat McAfee show today too.
And Jordy Nelson. He disappeared.
Well, Jordy was hurt though, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was hurt emotionally for being traded to the Raiders.
That'll do it. No, I believe they said the last time Green Bay drafted a first-round wide receiver was Javon Walker.
Oh, yeah.
Sounds right.
I liked on McAfee show last year when their resident Packer fan
he walked out.
And he just threw his stuff and he walked out on the show. He's like, Jordan Love, are you kidding me? Oh, so good.
The rumors were out there that they liked him. And of course, everybody had heard it, but they didn't think it was real or real enough.
And he's 41. Aaron Rodgers is 41. Yeah, go find somebody. Even if you don't have to be head over heels in love with the guy, but this dude's probably going to retire next year. We should probably find a backup.
Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers is 36.
Yeah, way too soon.
Brett Favre was throwing fucking 33 touchdowns at 40 years old, and he didn't even take care of his body like these guys do now. And I'm not saying Brett was out of shape or anything, but Tom Brady's over here doing calisthenics and eating, what is it, avocado ice cream and shit.
Yeah.
These guys are taking care of their bodies. They're playing longer. I don't understand that move, but whatever. I'm happy that the Packers did that. Screw that. C-Wise, to go back to your point, if Penei Sewell's at 11 or 12, yeah, I wouldn't be mad if they did it. But I'm firm with these guys saying stay at 14 or move down in the draft with Washington or someone find a way to get like another third. Then you'll have like 3 or 4 third-round picks, so you can jump into the second and get what you need. And just to piggyback on what I said earlier, if they ended up going offensive line at 14, or trading back and getting a lineman like in that draft, like Slater was there at 19, and they jump up to get another defensive end at the beginning of the second, if they flip-flop positions in that point, I'm all for it. But that they have to address both of those positions early and often in this draft. And then after that, I don't care. Do what you need.
There are several quality offensive tackles. Once they miss out on Sewell, I mean, it's a lot of guys that I won't say are interchangeable, but a lot of guys that have similar potential.
Correct.
So, yeah, I mean, at that point, you don't trade up. And if several of them are on the board, you look to move down a little bit, especially if the pass rusher you want's gone.
We took a little while, but much like last year's live coverage, it took a while. The Vikings were at 22. But we think the draft's going to fall this way. I like your guys' input on here, like the Alabama defensive lineman talking about Penei Sewell. I'm glad nobody in here said, let's go wide receiver, even though it would be fun to think about. Kirk Cousins has got to get better protection. Think about this. Anytime you want to go.
If Chase is there, I'm saying take him.
Who?
I mean, yeah, I was.
If
just
Chase is
say,
there, it's take him.
Yeah, if he was, but I don't think he'll be there. But yes, if he was,
that's the one. That's the absolute one.
Yeah.
That I'd say yes.
Whenever you guys want to think about like a Jalen Waddle to the Vikings or Devontae Smith, just think of Drew Samia in your nightmares. You got to upgrade that position, folks. Kirk Cousins does not like that. You know how he's like, you like that? He does not like that. All right. He doesn't like that at all. We got to protect this dude.
And I don't think Slaughter has signed with anyone yet. And I don't
Slaughter.
really expect him
freaking
to.
Reference. Good for you, Andrew. Sergeant Slaughter.
I don't expect him to sign with someone until after the draft.
Yeah.
But I think he will, at the very least, end up with a QB3 practice squad situation. I don't know with who, but he'll be on an NFL roster, no doubt.
Yeah.
This team. Wow, boy, we're coming up on an hour here already. This team has to figure out backup quarterback position as well, too.
Yeah. You know what? I said this in the chat with these guys. If they somehow went into if he fell to the 3rd round and got Kellen Mond, I would be giddy as a schoolgirl. He's a total project. He's got a weird body, but he launches balls like Josh Allen, like rocket arm. I would love that to be a project for the Vikings to take on. But I'll tell you something right now, unpopular opinion. They got Kirk Cousins, who they know can read a playbook and follow an offensive coordinator's instructions. I don't believe in the Vikings quarterbacks coach. I haven't seen anything of that to say, hey, look where these guys left, and they've been awesome. So I don't know how well that would work, but I'm in love with Kellen Mond. That's my sleeper quarterback of the draft. I think he's going to be awesome.
Yeah, he'll be one to watch, see where he ends up. Because there's going to be that quarterback that slips through the cracks, and all these other quarterbacks are going to go before him. And there's going to be that one that just absolutely shines. So it'll be fun to watch.
We're with you, C-Wise. If they can stop the run and just get somewhat of a pass rush and not be 29th in sacks, then, yeah, this defense is going to do what it does best, and it's going to feast, which is going to be great.
Oh, Kendrick Green. He's one that is an absolute draft crush for a lot of people. Nice big fellow that can get things done. And the fact that he's going around like late 2nd to early 4th as a range in drafts means he could go on day 2 or day 3. Who knows? But if he's there when the Vikings are on day 3, that would be so nice.
Wanted to let you guys know in the chat, we have decided we're not going to go with a live draft coverage this year. Pick by pick, even though it would be a little bit quicker than last year. With things opening up a little bit more, I think we're all vaccinated too, which is really cool.
I actually am not. My appointment, I was supposed to go get my first shot tomorrow, but it ended up getting canceled. So looks like I'm back on the waiting list.
Oh, okay. Oh man, that's a bummer to hear. I'm sorry about that.
Yeah, I don't go anywhere or do anything anyway.
Yeah, I don't figure you'd be too bummed about it. I mean, we hope that you get it soon, man. That's awesome.
Plus, I might be able to find somebody to to run a live stream and figure out some things to do here with either on Discord or maybe even going live. Who knows? But I'll definitely keep you guys up to date on that. At the very least, I'll throw up some stuff in the Discord because I love our Discord community. We've got some really cool people in there that really enjoy having conversations during games, and the draft discussion is some of the best. Being somewhere to talk about the draft while you watch it, it's so good.
That's what I'm planning on doing. I want to go to a bar with my work buddies. They're all football nerds like myself, different teams, and with everybody kind of having to hold and pump the brakes since COVID just kind of got started this time last year. Now that everything's kind of opening up, I want to go do it in person, and we're just going to go with it. But don't worry, here on the show, like Adam said, we're going to do a Discord chat live, and we can hop in there and it's no different than texting for us. And then as soon as it's over, we'll plan on doing something either at the end of day 3 or the day after to do a draft recap on all the new Viking players. So we got you covered. We just wanted to get in a show one more time before the draft actually happens next weekend.
Absolutely.
Easier to get excited about the draft when you're this close to it, I think.
Oh, yeah.
Now it feels tangible. Now it feels less like we're just making shit up and more like...
Don't get your hopes up there. That's all we do on this show.
Well,
yeah, otherwise there hasn't been a lot going on in the world of Minnesota Vikings. There's been some cool stuff going on with Eric Kendricks and other members of the Vikings bringing mental health to a forefront, which has been really nice to see because not only has the COVID stuff paid a big toll, but even without all that happening, there's a lot of time and a lot of space and a lot of... Go ahead.
Sorry. Continue.
There are a lot of people out there who are dealing with some really heavy stuff, and to be able to offer up some opinions on how to deal with those kind of situations, who you can reach out to, it's been really cool to see that be a topic that's been addressed by Minnesota Vikings players.
Mm-hmm. I was going to say before we wrap it up, Michael Pierce was in Minnesota for the first time, I think, getting to tour the Vikings facility and got to see the weight room. He got to see his locker. Pretty cool to see him out there in purple. I'm excited to have him on the field for Minnesota for the first time. I think he'll be a big piece of this defense coming up.
Oh, 100%. He's still young too. For those of you, I'll give the guy a shout out because I listen to his stuff every day. I won't say that I'm like a super fanboy. Some things I don't agree with, but I learned a lot from Luke Braun over there on Locked On. If you guys were wondering about the Michael Pierce contract, it does transfer and push over. All right, because he sat out last year and it just pushes over.
Yeah.
So it's not a 2-year, it's still a 3-year starting this year. So that's really awesome. He's it's pretty much like a Linval replacement. It's like if Linval respawned. So big things from this guy, from a big man, and he's going to do awesome stuff for this team because number one, he's a major upgrade from anything in the interior last year, but he seems like a good guy, and the Ravens just have such a good knack for those kind of players. So glad that he fell out and came to us.
And he's born in 97, I believe, for Minnesota.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
That'll be fun.
But that's all I have for this week. I am being a little bit more active over on Twitch, where you can come and play What the Dub with me if you want to, as well as some of the cool Jackbox games. If you've never played What the Dub, it's a fun game. They take public domain movies, and they'll play a little bit of them, and then they'll stop it, and you have to kind of add the dialogue to the movie and make it funny and enjoy yourself.
All right,
so
that sounds like fun.
That's a fun game to play with some folks online, and it doesn't cost anything to play. You can hop on in, and all you need is your mobile device. So yeah, hop in with me if you see me on Twitch. Give me a follow because that's a lot of fun. I've already plugged the Viking Age, which I love as a site because there's always some really cool takes going on over there, even if they're not mine. That group of writers over there is fantastic. Undead Walking, we've seen a lot of turnover lately. There's a lot of drama in the Walking Dead community, but outside of that, there's also a lot of really good stuff going on. Fear the Walking Dead has absolutely been breaking its stride in season 6. It's been an amazing season. I was about to quit watching in season 4 and 5. 6 has been fantastic. So yeah, if you are a fan of The Walking Dead, know that they're starting to work on the Rick Grimes movies a little bit. The comics have been coming out all nice and colored. They have a really cool side project going out that involves Rick Grimes and Clementine from the Telltale games.
Oh, cool.
So yeah, I mean, there's a lot of really neat stuff Walking Dead related coming out that could make Undead Walking a cool thing to check out if you're into that.
I like that.
Absolutely. I want to answer one question before we promote stuff and get out of here. CY says, if you can only pick one college for your entire draft, who would it be? Now, my caveat to this is I'm allowed to change every year because I'm greedy like that, and some teams are better at positions overall every year. But this year, I'm going with Alabama, 100%. Alabama's always got pro players everywhere. It could be Clemson some years. It could be LSU. It could be Ohio State. But you can't go wrong with Alabama. Sure can't.
Give me Michigan Tech. Hopefully the next Joe Berger's there.
There you go. Kyle West is taking Iowa. I already know that.
Oh, you fucker. You knew it. University of Iowa.
Iowa State, you said?
Sure.
You're not one of those that it's either Iowa or Iowa State. The Michigan people are just weird about that. You can't like both.
Well, yeah, that's how it is for North Carolina, too, being my home state. There's just such a difference in caliber of school from NC State to North Carolina in a bunch of sports. So I get it, but Michigan, Jim Harbaugh, they suck. Andrew Latola says Harvard. Hell yeah, give me another Ryan Fitzpatrick. I'll take
some
him.
Smart fellows there.
Heck yeah. All right, let's promote some stuff and get on out of here.
I did my stuff.
That's where it is now, in case you miss it. Adam Carlson writes for the Viking Age. We steal a lot of information there. Good writers there. We talked about the Undead Walking stuff if you're a Walking Dead fan. But the thing that I want to highlight as his friend is the Twitch stuff. You should help him out. Follow. He's a fun guy, and it's a lot of playful, fun stuff when he gets on. So
it's a good time.
For our Survival League winner, I just bought him some stuff for there. He wanted a hoodie in a certain color and size. And that's a free gift from the show. He got it from right here at Redbubble. This is Kyle.
A red Purple People podcast shirt?
No, he wanted charcoal gray.
Oh, that's a solid color.
It was a good choice.
Honestly, you can't go wrong with it. That's one of those shirt colors that just goes with everything.
You should go buy stuff from here. Kyle West does great photography work. I can't say it enough. His whole collection there. If you want Purple People podcast stuff, printed on everything from shirts to mouse pads to coffee mugs, cool. But he has really good photography work. You should check that out.
And if you got a room that you kind of want to creep up a little bit, you can get a big old print of some of the pictures that he's taken from cemeteries and just really neat things that will add a nice mood to any room. I mean, if you can think of it, there's probably something there that would help to accent a room.
I need to update. I haven't updated in quite a while. I've been slacking, Adam.
You're not gonna sell any squirrel pillows that way.
I know it.
Get your shit together, Wes.
I need to. Good luck. Good luck with that.
It's like that guy a long time ago that told me I was unprofessional on here with a bad background.
Well,
that's still my favorite thing in the world. Adam said, "Eat shit, Smith." Oh man, so funny.
We have come a long way since then. Even our StreamYard presentations look amazing.
Yeah, this is great. This is right in the forefront of like 2021 podcasting, right in the good mix of the pool. So I'm happy with this a lot. We can't say enough good stuff about StreamYard.
Do you guys get YouTube advertisements for StreamYard now? Because I
don't.
I do. I get
all my ads though. I hit refresh immediately.
I got one or two on Twitch though.
Oh, that's cool.
Which, by the way, we do run on Twitch. So if you want to watch us on Twitch, you can go over there, give us a follow. If you like what's going on, you can throw us some bits, which is nice. We are not an affiliate over there yet. So what we need over there is 50 followers, and I believe we need to have an average of 5 viewers. And we're not quite there for that yet. So if you could throw in some help on that, it'd be greatly appreciated.
Mm-hmm.
That'll be fun.
I would love to get a Twitch community going. YouTube, we do very well. Facebook is hit or miss. But yeah, I mean, we're trying to grow and reach a lot more Vikings fans because we are at our best when we get that interaction. We have so much fun talking with you guys and not at you. So many podcasts these days are people talking at people, and that's just not fun for me. Not fun at all.
They do really well. I mean, those guys do really well in all communities, but it's just not what we enjoy here. This is all for fun to echo what I'm saying. And I joined this show way late, in this grand scheme of things. Even though I've been with you guys a long time, I can't tell you enough how much this has grown and the format has gotten so much better. It's night and day better than what it used to be. And that's no dig at what the show used to be, but I love these comments here, man. You guys help us. We're lazy, man. You guys help us do the show. Like this. Did Sergeant Slaughter sign with someone? Like, that's incredible. I wouldn't have thought of that. And I could just throw that up here and interact with you all. But we could go on. We could fawn over this for days. But share the stuff. Like us on YouTube and Facebook. Like Adam said, we have a Twitch channel. We're going to try to keep growing the page, and we'll be back here very shortly in a couple of days next week after day 3.
And I'll keep you guys up to date on what's going on with me in the draft, because since I probably won't be able to go anywhere, I might be able to do a little something, like I said, whether it's Discord or maybe going live. I don't know, but we'll see. We'll definitely see how it works out. And on that note, I do want to once again thank everyone for joining. I appreciate everyone who hopped in here, whether you chatted along with us, just watched, shared it to your social media, or whatever. It's always great to bring Vikings fans together. Enjoy the draft and stay classy, Minnesota.